Look at all of your faces.
We're late because of Margaret. It's her fault.
It's always my fault.
Glad to be here. It's fun to talk to you too, because we never, you're like behind the scenes.
I was just saying before you hopped in that it's weird to have watched your dates in entirety and feel like I know you, but at the same time have not said a word to you. So it's
Oh my gosh, yes.
I tried to join Kira at the Golden Gate Bridge, but it didn't work.
Oh, we could have been in San Francisco together.
Welcome to the Go the Distance reunion. We are so glad to finally have you all on one screen. We kind of look like the quarantine Brady Bunch. So we know that many of you have met throughout the time, but not all of you have met each other. So we're going to start off with some intros to get it going. Olivia, 26, Chicago.
Hi, I'm Kira. I am 27. I live in Chicago.
Hey, I'm Ross. I'm 24 and I'm in Los Angeles.
My name's Allie. I'm 24 and I live in Chicago.
Evan, 24 in Chicago, not Detroit. But Chicago.
I'm Margaret. I am 26 and I'm in Brooklyn. I'm Kimberly. I'm 23 and I'm in Brooklyn.
And they were roommates.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm 23 and I'm in the burbs right now, but I live in Chicago.
I'm Cameron. I'm 31 and I live in Chicago.
Hi, I'm Sandy. I'm 34 and I'm in Chicago.
Hey, I'm Lior. I'm 25 and I'm in Chicago.
We're so glad everyone's here.
Yes. So now that we've all had a chance to meet, it is time to dive into the questions. We came up with a few, but our very loyal audience also came up with a few. We know that COVID-19 is full of madness, and so was being on the show. So Madison, starting off with you, you're one of our first people to sign up. Do you regret it?
Do I regret it? I don't regret it. I didn't go like in too deep with anybody. It's not like we bought like skydiving tickets and like went to Alinea for dinner. So I wouldn't say I like regret anything. I was like, yes, this will be just like the podcast. Boy, was I wrong. It was nothing like my podcast. It was the complete opposite of my podcast because I'm so used to low risk situations, because when men come on our show, it's not like, it's a date and like it's awkward. It's like we're interviewing them and that there's like no strings attached because it's just a podcast, and then they're gonna go their separate ways and we're gonna go our separate ways. But with this, it was like a lot more investment emotionally, and so I was like kind of not regretful. That is not the appropriate word, but like I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is like really something I want to be doing during quarantine, because I'm such a physical person and it like made me sad to not be in the presence of others.
That's a valid response.
No, I think emotionally it takes so much to show up on a screen and be able to have or try and even conjure a connection with someone over screen. We're obviously used to meetings and we're used to showing up, but we're not used to kind of this looking for a romantic connection. And I think a lot of us have said this in the interviews post-show or even in our reactions that, oh, I wish I could touch that person or see what our like physical chemistry is like, or what it would be in person to go get a drink. So it's very valid. We're all figuring out what that looks like over screen, and this may be a reality for a while. So the learning curve is absolutely warranted.
With me, it's just like someone's energy. Are they positive? Are they negative about themselves? How do they hold themselves, their body language? Those things you can't get, which I think makes something like this extremely difficult. And I'm very open-minded. I'm like, hell yeah, we're gonna date on the internet and it's gonna be weird and I'm gonna love it. And then it's like, oh no, this to me really couldn't work for my personal way about life.
Yeah, same. I get that. Allie, you joined because of Madison. And in your like original interview, you were talking about how dating in your 20s is really important. You went on a few first dates. We loved watching you on those. And then you said no to second dates. So we're curious, kind of jumping off of what Madison is really saying, how is this maybe not the best avenue for you, dating virtually.
Yeah, I feel similarly to a lot of the things that Madison said. I think I realized like throughout this that I so feed off of people's energy, which is like textbook an extrovert is. So it's hard to do that over video. And also something I've been learning as far as dating and dating in your 20s is that it's okay to like take a break from dating for a little bit. I don't think I had ever done that until recently. Like I was always on the apps, like on it when I'm out at bars, like meeting people actively because I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I'm like a naturally talkative, flirty person and like I enjoy that. But I just was like, oh, if I'm not having fun doing this now, or it's just giving me anxiety and I'm not being able to like feed off their energy, like the video aspect of it is just kind of taking a lot of the joy that I find out of it, then it's okay to like not be dating right now. And I needed to tell myself like, that's okay. Like it's not, like things are not normal right now, so maybe don't go on the second dates.
Thank you. So Ross, you were one of Allie's dates and actually ended up going on the most first dates out of everybody else on the show. So knowing that you were the only LA cast member, how did that make you feel?
Well, fabulous first. I'm like super far away from everybody, so the probability of seeing anybody or like actually going out and getting that physical dynamic is kind of lost. I'm not gonna get on a plane to see anybody in a while. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic because like what's the point of dating right now? We can all just kind of get in deeper connection with ourselves and enjoy the things we enjoy most, like cooking and music and art and poetry and writing and all these things. So it's kind of an interesting time.
I must admit that when we were in the process of pairing, I was hoping that you and your fellow Cleveland castmate would have chatted a little bit more about Northeast Ohio things, but that's what you get for trying to meddling into two of your friends dating, especially when they say yes to a random web series. So speaking of Margaret, you're not our only queer cast member. There are so many of us here, which is incredible. But you were only cast member that's already in a relationship. So did you and your partner discuss you coming on the show before you did it? Or do you have the relationship where you're just like, hey, I'm doing this, bye?
No, we definitely talked about it. Yeah. Like a lot.
I think that a lot of our viewers will be interested to know like what that conversation can kind of look like in a poly relationship.
Sure. Yeah. I think the biggest thing about like this format that was weird or difficult was like it felt like I felt like I was going into every date being like, I have a secret that I am going to have to drop. And like, I don't know how you're going to react. And like, usually that's not like how I would go about doing that. Otherwise, I mean, like the biggest thing like with poly relationships, I think is communication and being transparent. And that's not true for everybody, but like, I think that's definitely something that like about the way that we have approached our relationship is just like radical transparency and talking about shit even when it's hard and keeping that like lane open.
That is huge. You shared a really personal part of you and you were confident and brave to talk about it and even open to questions. And a lot of times when we open up our personal lives and ask for others questions, that puts a lot on us. So the fact that you were like, hey, I respect you, but I also respect my current relationship. Like, what does that look like? Are you okay with this? I really loved that. It was really special to me to just watch because I would love more people to have that kind of conversation. And it's still kind of rare right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's ongoing and like things change constantly. And so just being open to bringing those up is important.
Yeah, that you guys went on not only one date, but we'll see in episode 6 that you guys went on 2 dates. So Olivia, based on your first and second date with Mark, it seems like you guys made a really great connection. You were our last contestant to join.
Yes.
You joined the day before we started filming.
Yes.
So how does that feel to kind of jump in the last minute and then have this really great connection with someone and be like, oh my God, I almost missed that.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, I didn't even think about that. It was nice because when you are dating virtually, it's like, okay, but like, what's the point of this? And I think that that's something that I easily miss when it's face to face, because it's like, oh, well, this person's fun. I just want to hang out with them. For me, like, I feel like I need to be a little bit more intentional with it. There's only so much you can do over the camera, like so much you can connect to. I'm curious and like excited to see how this dating experience, dating during quarantine, how that's going to shift dating post-quarantine when I can meet people again. So, yeah.
It's a great diving board. I think you're absolutely right on that.
Yeah.
And very interesting to see post-quarantine what dating questions are going to look like, what dates look like. I think you're going to see a lot of like
my thing. Quarantine has like really taught me, like, if the conversation isn't flowing and it's an interview and not a date, or I'm having to ask all the questions, like, I will just be walking away. Like, that is one thing that quarantine dating has taught me, is like, if it doesn't flow, it's not ever going to flow, and it's better to just like stop. That will definitely be a change going forward.
Lior, you and Olivia didn't really make a connection, but you did have dates with Sandy and Kimberly as well. Were you surprised that you didn't end up on a second date with either of them? And do you think that technical difficulties was part of what got in the way?
Yeah, so I'll start with like the tangibles I learned. 1, I have terrible internet in this apartment. 2, I have terrible lighting in this apartment. So both of those will be remedied right after quarantine. But no, I thought this was really interesting because I think there are some things that like change the scenario when it's virtual versus real, right? 1, I find, and I learned through this, I'm generally an activities-based person. Like, first dates that I go on are usually an activity that we share. I also didn't know what to expect coming into it. Like, I wasn't sure if I should start with, hi, I'm Lior, this is what I'm looking for in like a serious partner, or hi, I'm Lior, who are you? Like, let's just talk. I struggled to just kind of figure out how to learn more about somebody in a way that felt natural without interviewing them. But I thought that everyone was awesome that I talked to, and like when I came into this, I was just like, yeah, I'll meet new people and see what happens. Like, I have no idea, no expectations, and I thought that everybody I talked to was awesome.
Well, I think we agree. Everybody you talk to is awesome. You're awesome too. So moving on to one of the folks that you went on a date with, Kimberly. I think that you brought some of our best comedic moments to the show. Obviously, along with Marg and Ozzy. The best roommates one could ever have. But what our audience wants to know is, were you surprised to see the reactions of either of your dates after the fact?
Since I live like in New York and everyone who I talk to lives in Chicago, I think like that was mentioned on several of them. It was just like, it's just not really feasible because like I live far away. And so it's like, not only is it like we're trying to like connect digitally and it feels like an interview, and like we're not actually like at like a cool bar, or like can like go to a second venue for another drink or something like that. Like, it's like very like we're stuck in our living rooms. And like there's like, it would be so difficult to like continue the relationship offline.
But we've just had a lot of fun like watching the episodes, like we've set up like Zoom calls with our friends and like poured big drinks, and we get to like yell at the screen and like laugh a lot.
Like, why did they use that part?
Yeah.
We're empty, so I'll be back.
Great, Cameron. You had a chance to go out with Kimberly and Sandy, and unfortunately you didn't make it onto second dates. But I don't know if you peeped this. We had a comment on episode 1 from somebody named Susan, who seemed to be quite fond of you. The direct quote was, "That guy Cameron is hot, just saying."
That's just a friend of mine that I showed it to.
Well, my question is going to be, have you had any interactions like that on your Twitter? Because I know that your Twitter account talks a lot about dating.
No. No, not really. I'm out of people's DMs entirely. I mostly just post stupid jokes now that nobody likes, so that's okay.
Well, we were thoroughly impressed with Susan's confidence. So,
Cameron, you also were one of your suggestions for the show was actually Evan. Wanted to kind of switch it over to you. You also dabble in comedy and performance. So do you think that helped you with your dates? Do you think that helped like break the ice a little bit?
I like to think that maybe some sort of stage presence and performance helps me just in general interaction. I think overall it helped out with the nerves of like being on a show though, because I felt like there was this thing in the back of my head through all the dates where it's like, holy crap, like anything I can say can like just go up on the internet. So I feel like that kind of like helped ease that part of it a little bit.
She's no stranger to love or the stage because you have a very well-produced web series that is also on the topic of love. So did you have any trouble wrapping your head around our zero budget series? And do you think that what you have experienced will impact any of your scripts moving forward?
Those are some great questions. No, I didn't have any trouble wrapping my head around the no budget series. So the Right Swipe, my web series, it's a little, the quarantine is making it pretty difficult to move forward with that at the moment because, a lot of our, pretty much all of our funding came from like grants and crowdfunding and, my personal money and all of those things are kind of tapped right now. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to finish this season, it's okay. I've like made my peace with that. I think love and dating, like particularly love and dating for like Black women and people of color is always kind of like at the core, or at least like a very strong element of what I write. I pretty normally end up like on dating apps not matching with white people. Not because I don't, not because I avoid them, but just statistically Black women get the least amount of matches on dating apps. Or, we're less likely to match with white people. And so I was really shocked that I was like paired with 3 white people. But I had a good time with all of them. Like I didn't feel awkward with any of them. It like, with Ross and I kind of, and I think a little bit with Allie, like we were able to kind of get into some more like social justice and race topics, and it didn't feel like I had to educate anyone or that they were uncomfortable or judging me. So that, like, I think moving forward, hopefully I can feel a little bit less under a spotlight with like interracial dating.
You were actually supposed to go on a second date, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But second date, do you want to reveal yourself?
Sure, I want to know. Tell me.
Was that me?
It was
you! I figured, hi, Ross.
What's up, baby? The drama I've been waiting for.
I do want to jump off of the second date talk and transition over to Sandy because you had several options for second dates. We loved the connections that you were making, and you ended up deciding, okay, I'm gonna move away from this. I think a lot of people were thinking the same thing. So I just wanted to give you a moment to kind of talk about your experience and, how you're feeling about it and moving away from second dates.
I really enjoyed meeting everyone, and I thought that this was like a really amazing experience in spite of like everything that's going on. And even though I live alone, I'm just like being even more vigilant about how much time I need to like process how I'm feeling and like what I'm doing with my hours and like what I want to do and where I want to go. And so I just find myself wanting to be more alone or like tackle this on my own before I like bring anyone else in. So I think that's the reason why I kind of said no to the second dates. It's not really on anyone. It's not because I didn't connect with people, because I really did. Everyone was so cool. Smart Food white cheddar popcorn has been getting me through tough times, you guys.
That is the best white cheddar popcorn on the market, in my personal opinion.
So good.
So I agree with you on that. for our folks that said yes to second dates, if anything will happen moving forward.
I wasn't paying attention. Say that again.
They want to know if you want to go out with me again.
Yeah, let's go out. Where do you want to go? Outside right now?
Yeah, I'll go outside. We'll go on a walk. We can like do each other while we're on a walk.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, FaceTime while walking.
Mark and Olivia, I know y'all are texting right now and talking about what you're gonna say. So you want to spill the beans and tell us what you're thinking?
Spill it.
All I was gonna say is that we're not texting, we're actually Instagram DMing, so it's like very different. You know?
Right.
And that is exactly what we're at this point. We're just Instagram DMing, where it's like casual, flirty, no one's business. You know what I mean?
Now it's everybody's business.
On a television.
We did go on reality TV, and that's on us.
Yes.
But it's our personal life.
That's about it. So, cheers to that.
Well, obviously you have your answer now.
This is the tea. And
you're turning it into more than what it is.
Oh my god.
I'll fight you, bitch.
Come at me. Come at me.
Allie followed my web series, but not me. So I don't know if that counts.
I thought I did. I thought I did follow you. I wanted to know if people would watch the episode that aired before their date, like purposefully to watch the person that they were next to date. And I didn't know if I was supposed to feel weird about that, but I was like, the content is out there. It's like Googling somebody before a first date.
Do you look them up on LinkedIn?
So does this mean I need to like show like future dates my episodes and be like, this is me, like in case you Google?
This is me in a date setting. I will fully expose myself and say that I looked at people's intro videos before the date. There, I said it.
I told you somebody was gonna do it.
Yes.
I knew it.
It was me, bitch. It was me.
Okay, y'all put them where we can see them all.
I watched the reactions. It took all my willpower not to watch the intros before, but I definitely watched the reactions after.
I tried to get Margaret to watch the reactions for me.
Oh, I did, but I just didn't tell you what they were.
I feel betrayed.
Said not to watch them, so honestly, this is on y'all.
That's true.
Or you could have not put them in a Google.
I know, it was just available content. What are we supposed to do?
Control. Y'all are adults.
It's quarantine. It's quarantine.
So I'm sorry, you didn't watch the show, but you watched the reactions. Like, y'all need to go subscribe to Inclusive Collective right now.
I subscribe to you all.
I'm just saying, you watched the unedited content and then you were like, I'm good.
I just want to know the reaction. I don't want to know what happened. I just want to know what people think about what happened.
So I totally watched my own episode beginning to end, and I really feel like I shouldn't have done that because Cameron and I had this discussion where he was like, "Oh, I can't wait to be the bumbling idiot or whatever and get the awkward music on my date." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's gonna be hilarious." And then, well, I start my episode, the minute I come on screen, there's that awkward violin that starts playing, and I'm like, "Oh."
I died watching that.
What?
I died. I texted him immediately. I was like, "Did you watch your episode yet?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "You have to watch it now."
Well, it's funny because I was watching it like with friends, and I was like, "You guys, like, really, the date was not this awkward. Like, they only showed like the beginning, and I was like, didn't care."
That was like my favorite part of the whole episode.
Hey, that happens on real dates all the time. Like, you get your table, you sit down, and then one of you has to go to the bar and get drinks. So, like, I felt like it was like a totally normal thing. Like, it didn't.
It was just the way he did it. He was like, "You're like, do you have a drink?" And he goes, "Oh, and he looks over here for like 10 seconds, and then he's
all right, Cameron. I think
get
people have watched the episode. We don't need to relive this.
I felt bad for everyone because I was like, no one's gonna get a true taste of your date because I only have 5 minutes to paint a picture of like your connection and how it's going.
It's a personal problem, actually.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I'm just creating drama.
You know, dash me outside.
No one can be caught outside.
I need to stop drinking. It's only 3 o'clock here. Son of a bitch.
Oh my god.
So I'm gonna say that's a wrap on Go the Distance.
Thank you guys so much for joining us and being vulnerable and sharing a part of your lives that we wouldn't have gotten to see prior to this. So we hope that it's been fun for you. It's definitely been a ride for us. What a trip!
Oh my lord.
A lot of personalities, and I appreciate that because we talked about it with the whole group. It's a small time frame to get to know a taste of you and a taste of your date, and so we saw a lot of people show up with their full personality today, and I loved it.
Yes.
I was surprised by how much Allie said that she went on dates in real life. Like, I feel like I go through phases where I go on like a bunch of first dates, like maybe 1 or 2 a week.
Sure.
And that is so exhausting to me. But on the contrary, like on these dates, like there were definitely moments where I was like, oh, like if this was a first date, like I would go in for a kiss right now.
Sure.
And like make a move. But like there's no way to do that on Zoom. Is this a good time to follow Lior on LinkedIn?
Yes. Now is the time to follow. Did you expect to be asked such a personal question?
No! I was not expecting that question. And I panicked. And I also didn't remember all of the reactions. And so I was like trying to rack my brain for like something from any of the reactions that stood out to me. This is what I get for being drunk and watching every episode.
It's like fun to watch your dates also. Like,
and it was fun like to watch like you like be like, oh, about your date.
Mhm.
And like, or to like hear you talk about your date like in like our conversations like this, and then to like see it and like try and get from what you told me about your date and like get like
The
from
same
the
thing.
edit and
Yeah.
be like, does this make sense to me?
Is this the same? Yeah. All Cheval is a date spot. It's not a friendship spot.
All right, well, oh my god. Leor just added me back on LinkedIn and messaged me and said LinkedIn for the win with a bunch of exclamation points.
Compatibility? Just went
I
up.
love texting Olivia and getting called out. How did that make you feel? Because I felt on the spot and I was only adjacent.
I felt like it really added to the drama of like we were trying to be like not drama and like not a thing TM. And
Well, it's
then
also funny because we were texting each other.
we're so badly behaved.
I know. But like if they had called it out like 5 minutes earlier, like you would have been texting me. I got several matches on Tinder during the reunion, so.
It will be very interesting now that we are officially wrapped on filming to see how the people that we know personally will want to debrief not on camera, why we edited their dates the way that we did for the episodes. So, you know, I really hope we all have the same level of friendship with these people.
It's been really great to see how people can like joke around and take it. I will give them credit where credit is due. I don't know if my skin would be that thick.
Yeah.
We talked about this previously, how dating on a web series, no thank you. But people signed up for it, people were here for it.
Yes, and you know, they stuck through it and everybody showed up for the reunion, and I really appreciated that. This time was for sure special, so.
It definitely helped me kind of see the reality that everyone else is coping with. Everyone has a different situation when it comes to the lockdown and social distancing and isolation. We're all going through it and we're all feeling it in different ways.
Absolutely. I don't think anybody was sober on this show though. Everybody loved their wine and tea time. And you know what? I'm here for it.
It's valid. I wouldn't suggest coping with it, but alcohol does go great with watching the show. So if that is your little like escape from reality, I think that's okay. If you are still absolutely going, what is the next episode? Where can I watch it? When can I watch it? What's next? I'm not ready to say goodbye to these people. We have a behind the scenes episode coming up next. You didn't get to see all the footage, so who knows what's coming up, but stay tuned.
This is not the end, y'all.